Hey everyone, welcome to my latest video. We are on location at the Hyde Park Zoo, sketching some of the animals. In this sketch I'm going to be taking you through a drawing I did of the llamas, and I'm testing out a new piece of kit that I got, a little phone magic arm they call them, that clamps to my bike. Anyway, I was experimenting with it. It was my birthday. It was a fun sketching session. So I started at the beginning there, before the title came in, just picking a very basic unit. In this case, it was the ground at the top of the llama's back, and that's what I used to sort of set out my scene. And then I'm just getting some lines down now with my fountain pen. So it's hard to see with the exposure the way it is, and it becomes an issue later in the video. But I just very quickly sketched out, that basic unit in pencil, and then sort of the extents of the drawing. And now I'm just going in and trying to draw with pen. It's funny, I worked in sketchbooks for a while now, and the last sketchbook I had was larger format, A3 I believe, and this is A4, or maybe this is A4 and the other one was A5. I can't get the metric sizing in my head, but and much bigger than this, probably twice the page size. And now going back to smaller doesn't feel so good. When I started watercoloring more, I like a bigger page, not even to make the drawings bigger, but just so that there's more oxygen on the page. I find sometimes I cover the entire page with paint and it doesn't give the feel that I want. So that's the scene, and then with my watercolors, I'm still finding my feet in the watercolor world, but trying to pick which areas I use wet on wet. And so I was wetting the page to allow the pigment now that I'm applying to kind of bleed and have softer edges. So it's sort of the background wash. And trying to just wash in the woods behind without actually drawing anything specific, and trying to really lean into the watercolors and trying to embrace different ways of mark making. And so I find the watercolor really does interesting things when the page is very wet. I think I'm struggling through this one a little bit. And then, while it's wet, dabbing in almost pure pigment, or as much as I can get with the little pre-made bricks. I'm running out of some of the colors, and so I think very soon I'll need to buy my own tubes of watercolor, and that'll become another way to experiment, potentially getting more pigment out than I can from the pre-made cubes. And you can see, unfortunately, the page is getting a bit more washed out. I'm trying to figure out I have an app that I'm using on my phone, and it worked well for some things, but there's some settings I don't fully understand. I try to have the exposure set so that it doesn't change when I change the position of the page, but I don't know if it's the sun that changed or what happened, but the rest of the painting after this is totally blown out. Interestingly though, I think what I found in doing this is having one area of focus and leaving the rest of the drawing, I think, is more successful than when I paint the entire scene. You'll see in the final sketch. And that sound was me spritzing the page now, just to add some more moisture, to get some more tone, or texture rather, in the paint. And now I'm using the squarer end of this small brush to draw the pigment up vertically. And as I was saying, in the end I found this is maybe more interesting than the final piece. You'll see that in the next image. I just found it sort of loses its depth, and it's a bit cartoony. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back with more videos shortly. Thank you.